All right, welcome back to the Discovery of Foundational Truths. This is discovery number 8. My name is John Lemus.
Get the merch. Get the merch. Director Mula.
Mo Magaza.
Hussein Ambarwa.
Okay, I was going to get started with a couple statements, see how they affect your minds. First one starts with shame only exists in the shadows. So think about that. Shame only exists in the shadows.
I mean, I say in your mind, that's how I
It's
look at the
definitely in your
shadow.
mind. Yeah.
Yeah, because really nobody else know it until you let it out, from my understanding.
So how do you get rid of shame?
You prove it wrong.
Prove it wrong?
So
But I think shame
What
only
causes it?
exists to a person who's not comfortable with who they are, who don't know who they are. So the way you get rid of shame is dig down deep and find who you are and like know who you are.
That is almost the answer to every question I have.
Yeah.
That is correct. Biggest thing is put
'Cause
light on it.
I was just
Yeah,
thinking
if you put
about
light on it, somebody, you talk about it, you bring it out, then it'll kind of go away. Because really, the only way it stays shame is if it, stays in the dark. But go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just saying. I was just talking to my sister earlier,
Mm-hmm.
and she said she was ashamed of something, and I like in my mind I was like, like there's something that you need to work on yourself. I mean, obviously I didn't tell her that because that's not what she wanted to hear, but in my mind I was like, she needs to work on herself on something.
Yeah, just
Understood.
basically trying to develop her identity. Yeah. All right. The best way to that leads right into this one. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. So the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. What's that do when you help other people?
help yourself, from my understanding.
Yep. So everything you do basically is for you, whether you want to know it or not. Like if you would have told your sister that, it would have actually made you more confident and been able to address, issues. She may have felt a certain type of way at first, but you planted the seed, and next time it may help her right through it. She might not have to deal with it again.
No, I absolutely understand, but
Yeah.
it's you have to pick the moments when because words can be poison and they could be words of motivation, right? So at that time, it's all about timing.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but truths.
Yeah. No, truth comes out whenever.
Yeah,
It
when
doesn't
we
have
use the
timing.
truth, it
Yeah.
doesn't. Yeah, there's
It-
never
I-
never
I
a time where
definitely
truth is poison.
understand
It
that,
might
but
not be taken correctly. You're right.
I chose that moment that
Yeah.
she's not ready, and I didn't want my words to be poison.
Okay.
And obviously I'll tell her whenever she's right state of mind.
Yeah. Okay. There's an ocean of potential in just one drop of change. There's an ocean of potential and one drop of change. A single decision to adjust your routine today could be the secret to drafting your future masterpiece. So, what are they trying to say as far as trying to think? Ocean of potential and one drop of change. So, how does change come about?
What change you talking about?
Any change.
Oh, you talking about change in
Just
general?
change in
okay,
general.
okay. Thought you was talking about money, but
Not dimes and nickels.
okay.
No, I'm
good.
saying there's an ocean of potential and just one drop of change. So you got to think about what type of change needs to happen to, kind of find your potential.
I mean, with change, you got to understand what you're doing, wrong first, then
Okay.
the idea of it. Then from there, you said the ocean of what?
It says there's an ocean of potential and one drop of change.
The ocean of potential. I look at it as a potential everywhere because the ocean is big and it covers up the earth from
Okay.
my point of view. So it's
About
everywhere.
60 to 70% of the earth is ocean. The biggest thing is you got to understand that one little, thing you do, whether you talk to your sister at that point or whatever, that change could open up the whole potential of what you're looking for. That's what they're trying to say. And it all has to do with intent. You got to have intention, when you actually make, a change. Okay? All right. So attack the evil that is within yourself rather than attacking the evil that is in others. So why would you attack the evil in yourself first?
Because you're self-reflected. I mean, that's what it is.
Okay.
If there's evil, because literally, what you see things is who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So for you to like know, okay, I'm feeling this type of way, there's something wrong. If you see something if you're out there, everything you see is negative. you're a negative person because that's what you see. Because you don't like the eyes like let you see the image, but you don't see like your heart is like who you are is what you see, and be able to see like things for what they are or see things for the the opportunity or the beauty. But if you're already like an evil person, that's who you are. You're gonna think even an innocent child is evil because that's who you are.
Right. Okay, so why would attacking the evil within you be better than attacking the evil in somebody else?
I mean, with somebody else, you're destroying them, destroying their mindset.
Are you destroying them? Can you change them?
No,
You can't
So
change.
you're actually, you're in a cycle where you can't even really change that other person.
Yeah, I
So
mean, but
what
they
good
can
is
take your
attacking
words
evil in
to
somebody
something.
else?
You said what's good or what?
Yeah, what's good about attacking evil in somebody else?
There's nothing good about it.
Can you define attack? Like,
Attacking just like being aware of, as far as like actually making a move to try and help that person out of that evil.
exposing that they're evil?
Exposing, yeah.
I mean, I can't say I'm evil and I'm wrong for attacking a person that's evil. What if you know yourself that you're a moralist person and you see evil, and if you're ignorant to that evil, what does that make you? That means it make you compliance to that evil. You don't have to be evil yourself in order to see evil. I mean, that's happening like as of today.
Okay. So I guess what they're trying to say is instead of looking outside of you to find things that are going wrong, fix what's inside first.
I mean,
it's like
what everything starts.
Yeah.
If you want to see a change, you gotta start with yourself first.
Yeah.
They have this African saying that says, everything starts at home. If you want to help at home first. If you want to grow at home first. That's what you gotta start. And home literally means you. You gotta start with yourself with anything that you're trying to do.
Yeah, that's good and all. Like, let's say you did all that.
Yeah.
You worked in yourself. You helped you at home. Does that mean you ignore the evil that's going on, like in your environment?
But that's what you're seeing though. If you're actually seeing that, then that's you haven't done that enough. So that's what you're seeing. So if that mission is complete, then you will not be seeing those things.
What do you
Does
mean?
that
Like,
make
all I
sense?
have to do is step out of my environment to see that.
But I'm saying you have to see everything. There's like that's why they say everything has a good and a bad. There's two stories to everything, right?
Yeah.
So it depends on who is seeing what. Because when you see disasters, other people see opportunities.
Facts.
So that's where it starts. If that cup is full, then you're able to what do you call it, overflow to other people. But if you're working on that cup is not full, then you're obviously gonna see a little bit of both. I don't know if that
Nah,
that
I hear
makes
you.
sense.
I'm not saying everybody should be Superman and go out
No,
there
we're not saying save the world.
and save the world
Yeah.
and everything, like vigilante or whatever
So
you
how
call
do you
it.
save the world?
How you save the world?
Yeah.
I mean, you could do it by like example, like leading by example.
It's all
So
save
if you're
your-
working on
save
yourself,
yourself
you
first.
lead it by
Yeah.
example. But at the same
That's
time,
all you can control anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's true,
I can
yeah.
respect that.
All right. Okay, you cannot become what you want to be because you're too attached to what you've been.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's like realistic, right?
Yeah, it's
That's so
definitely realistic.
crazy.
So how do you become what you want to be?
I mean, you got to get out your comfort zone, from my understanding.
Yeah, you definitely got to get out of there. Sometimes even to change of environment.
Mm-hmm.
you gotta
'Cause when you're-
do.
Yeah, well, you got to be first. Remember, it's be, do, have. Most people do try to do. You can do it. Your willpower lasts about a week or two, and then you quit.
Yeah.
When you become something, you actually just do what that person is that is becoming that. So you always want to start with be, but
Can you like? I find that hard to like understand because
uh-huh.
in order to be,
Mhm.
you need to proceed action. You can't just wake up and like be something just be by laying down there and not like you can believe yourself. Oh, I'm this person and not do shit
Mm-hmm.
and like, just stay in your bed all day. Does that mean you're being?
Are you being that person you're talking
Yeah,
about?
you
if
telling
just
telling
lay
yourself that though
laying in
mentally.
bed?
Yeah.
Like I'm the shit. You telling yourself you the shit, and you ain't really doing nothing like shit worthy.
So
Excuse
you
my
are
language.
really not being.
You're just believing.
Yeah.
You're just kind of like eluding yourself that you're being.
You're
that.
putting it to the universe, but no action.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
I'm
Like
saying, if
you can
you
say
think-
I'm be this, but like you ain't
Yeah,
doing shit.
for
that
creation,
means,
you
like,
got to
you're
think
back
about
zero.
it. Then you have to do it. But I'm saying if you don't think first, the doing is going to be not going to help you. So obviously, if you lay in bed all day and talk about how good you are, it's not going to work.
There's people who does that.
Absolutely.
They act like they are that B part, like that's who they move like.
That's
but
how they start.
from
You might see that
perspective, you're
person
like,
in a
"Damn,
month or
bro,
two,
you ain't doing shit."
and they are.
Reality would get
Yeah.
to him. Ain't no words.
All right. This is a good open question. So I'll start with, let me see. Mo, you get this one first.
All right.
What's the best piece of advice you have for humanity?
The best piece of advice for you.
What do you think? Yeah. What's the best piece of advice you can give somebody right now with the stuff we've been talking about?
I say be kind.
Be kind.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think, Hussein?
The best advice. I don't got none right now.
I will switch. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Haji.
Be yourself.
Think about it. Okay. Be
Yeah.
yourself.
All right.
I say just be truthful or honest,
Mm-hmm.
which is sort of the same as all you guys.
Yeah.
Be truthful, honest can be twisted all kinds of ways though.
I don't know how you twist truth, but go ahead.
Perspective.
Let's see. Think
kind of
about
advice
something
could
about
you
like
give?
the truth.
Just think if you were 10 years younger, you told yourself, this is the advice I want to give you. And then by now, you'd be way beyond where you're at now.
That's a different question. Like,
I know, but I'm
I mean,
just
I
saying.
understand. He's just trying to have me think.
Yeah,
I mean,
think.
yeah. I mean, I look at it as just don't be controlled by your environment.
Okay.
Good
That's
one.
good. All right. All right. The wise warrior avoids the battle. The wise warrior is your stoicism stuff. The wise warrior avoids the battle. Can
Wise
you
one.
do that all the time?
Oh, we do that. We
Most
did
of
that
the
all
time.
of life.
Huh?
I said we did that all of life.
Yeah.
Realistically.
Well, we've actually got into battle a couple times. I did anyway. So
Yeah,
you guys
everybody
did too.
here did.
All right. But the wise warrior avoids the battle. How?
you-
Go ahead.
Because just because you win the battle doesn't mean you win the war. Avoiding the battle, it's you're if you look at it in a war standpoint, right? If you avoid that battle, you're saving a lot of lives because, and that like life is very important because everybody has a purpose, right?
Mhm.
So by going to battle, you're actually taking away from those people that had a purpose, right? But if you
You're talking
avoid
about
the,
actually killing people.
yeah, that's
Okay,
what I'm
that's-
saying. If you avoid,
You're going to the extreme. Yeah,
no, I'm
okay.
saying I'm just giving
I'm just
an
talking about
example.
arguing with your wife, or you know.
No, I mean, I'm just saying it for
Battle
example. That's
within.
just I'm just going the long like
Yeah, you're
the
talking
long
about real
route.
war. Yeah.
It's just better to avoid the battle so you can you would win the whole war. Like that's just the way it is. Because if you're trying to fight everything, then you're fighting yourself. You're not focused. You're not where you need to be. It's just what do you call it? You're just clustering your mind, and you're not really doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Okay.
So avoiding a battle gives you a clear mind to think, move right, what you need to do.
So obviously, it takes wisdom to avoid the battle.
Oh,
For sure.
is that saying surrendering though? Like,
No,
let's
it's
say
not
the battle
surrender.
is against your will. Like, it's by force. The battle's at your house.
Yeah.
They pull up in your house with everything against you. Like, so you're just gonna avoid it by
mean,
surrendering, or
So does a wise warrior allow people to enter their house?
Nah.
in order to defend yourself?
I'm just saying, you're not coming in my house. It
That's
makes
what
me
I'm saying.
wise.
Like, that's
When
not
I let
surrendering.
you in
though.
there, that's not wise.
No.
Anything can happen.
It's against
But the
your will. That's
wise
what I asked.
Yeah, the wise warrior though avoids the average battle. You know,
Yeah.
the ones that like.
No, I agree
barely-
with the statement 100%.
Yeah, if they come to you by force,
tricky
Yeah,
situation.
handle
they
the
come, then it has
situation.
to be. Yeah, it's
I
got to
mean,
be
it's just
met.
anybody that enters your house.
Yeah.
It
Common
is what
sense.
it
They
is.
say self-defense. You know?
Yeah, it is what it is.
All right. This one comes actually from the Matrix. You have to understand most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. Many of them are so injured or so hopefully dependent on the system that they'll fight to protect it. So what are they trying to explain there? You guys saw the Matrix. I'm
Brainwashed.
sure.
It's the same
It
thing
is
with money.
brainwashing, huh?
It's the same thing with money, like I said 2 weeks ago.
What's that?
Like it's a concept, and a lot of people are plugged into that concept.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're like, I have a new idea, they're like, no, we like this concept because they're still plugged in because they think that while being plugged in, they're being healed, but actually they're being destroyed,
Controlled.
controlled, like just slowly by slowly, and they will defend that to, until
fullest.
they're literally giving up their soul to defend that ideology.
Yeah, I was just eating breakfast today, looking around and seeing people just on their phones, and you have two people not even communicating with each other, sitting right next to each other.
Yeah.
You know, they are plugged in. I mean, like I
Yeah.
said, they're so used to doing certain things that it would actually get them mad if they weren't allowed to do that.
I mean, I would say I used to do that. Like, I
Oh,
would go-
absolutely. I think we
yeah,
all did.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
human
Yeah.
nature.
Not anymore. Like if
Now
I'm with
it
somebody,
is.
I put my phone down.
Yeah, that's good.
It's-
All right. Set a goal so big that you cannot achieve it until you grow into the person who can.
Love that.
Yeah. What's the sense of setting a goal really big? What will
So
it
you
do?
can go. So you can become really big. That's
So you
how I
can
look.
become. Yeah. I mean, that's the idea.
Push you to your limits and beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think anything it's so big though. I think
Well, after you start setting some big ones, that it's not big anymore.
Yeah. Then you
But I'm saying
create more
that-
bigger ones.
Yeah, they say that you're supposed to set a goal that your own pocketbook can't, afford.
Does that drive greed though? What can we say is enough? You saying big goals? I,
I mean,
want
you
to be a
got-
billionaire.
No,
Keep
I
going.
That's nothing wrong with that.
I mean,
You
yeah,
can say that, but
yeah.
you don't believe it
yeah.
Huh?
because of where you're at. I can tell
I'm
you
not
right
talking
now.
about myself. I'm
Not
talking about
in general. Yeah, I mean,
But
Like,
you
this
you
is the
just gotta
reason why we have
you just
greed.
gotta think about like when God was like, I want to build this, I want to build this. Like it wasn't really like greed. I mean, your intentions, you have to have the right intentions, and you have to, because not only that, like you can't do anything if you don't have plans and how to manage it. You're not gonna get anything if you don't know how to manage it too.
You think everybody knows that though?
I mean, everybody don't know, but that's the common sense. You're not gonna get something that you don't know how to manage.
Facts.
If you know how to manage it, then like your ideas and your thoughts are gonna be endless.
There's actual truth. Anything you cannot manage, you will lose.
I can respect
Without a
that.
doubt,
That's 100%.
Okay, if our thoughts create our world, what's your thought for the world today? What world are you creating for yourself? If our thoughts create the world, which they do,
Yeah.
what's your thought of the world today?
In terms of my own world,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
not
in
to be
general.
selfish, but I'm not really
It's not
focusing
selfish.
outside of the world as much as more
Right.
to my own words. I'll say like to me, I look at it as in hope.
Mhm.
Like there's so much negativity like surrounding news, this and like everywhere you go, it's like. But I try to like exit that out of my lifestyle and just be positive and like hoping for better and better.
Okay.
My thoughts.
Just a thought that you have for the world today for yourself.
I say stay focused.
Yeah, he's definitely a grinder.
For me, it's most likely be peaceful everywhere you go.
What about you, Lee?
What is a thought for me today? I think I'm actually changing my own situation inside of my classroom. Eventually, they're going to see it, systemically, and they're going to ask what's going on. Because the kids, like I said, just are responding like crazy. Some of the things we're going to go over later, as far as like they're called highly evolved beings. What I'm trying to give the children is basically, how can you self-govern? How can you control your outcomes? How do you, So I'm doing that kind of microcosmically. It's in a smaller group, but they see it. Sometimes they'll see it walking by, and sometimes another teacher will come in and observe what's going on.
Is it like a group like talk, like a dialogue, or you just like lecture?
I do it.
How you
I do
doing
it at the beginning. I'll sit there and I'll actually read them something, and now they're wanting to read it. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. You know what I mean? So I give it to them, and then I let them try to respond to it. But it's the way I kind of run the classroom. It's like I run it from awareness or observation, and I don't try to control everything.
No, that's key, right?
Yeah,
I
'cause
like
when
that.
I try to control everything, when you try to control, you will ruin. So that's a truth. Yeah, so you got to watch what you're doing. Controls, it's just an illusion anyways. You think you have control, but you might have dominance or you might have power over something, but it's like, it's no good if I'm not there, but if I'm not there, I expect them to act a certain way. So in reality, this is a wild one. Plants are actually farming us by giving us oxygen daily until we eventually decompose, then they consume us.
I never thought about it like that. That's crazy.
I never did either.
Yeah, run that back real quick.
I said in reality, plants are actually farming us by giving us oxygen daily until we eventually decompose so they can consume us as fertilizer.
Yeah.
It's a cycle.
I mean, science should have told taught you that.
Yeah, but you don't think about it just like that. That's the whole point.
We usually think we plant, stuff so we can eat the fruit and all that,
Yeah.
but
It's the endless cycle.
yeah.
I might go on a tangent real quick because I was driving my way back here, and I was just thinking about this is just my science, brain
Your
kicking
science
in.
brain.
So I was thinking about death, right? I was like, I feel like God put a system like, and I believe it could be carbon dioxide because everything here is gonna decompose anyhow, and the amount of like carbon dioxide is just like the cycle how this world is like set up is the reason why we die off because without oxygen, I mean, we need a lot of different like elements, oxygen, nitrogen, a lot of things, but I feel like carbon dioxide is the reason why everything just slowly die at the end. And by death, I'm talking about back to the earth.
Yeah, how it transforms. Yeah, because we don't die off.
And I was like,
Yeah,
how can we
energy
take that
never
out?
dies.
Yeah.
I'm gonna explain to you a little bit about the highly evolved beings actually last a lot longer than we do because they don't do certain things. That are obvious to them that it's killing them. But we do things all the time. Whether
Flesh is weak.
yeah,
Because you can slow aging if you get out of this earth. Like, I mean, not earth, but like if you go out of space or something, like because of like the speed, aging does like regress. It goes backwards, like slow a little bit. So there's something that's holding us back.
You're onto something. I don't know what it is.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just me going off my brain,
Yeah.
tangents and shit.
That's
mean,
what I'm
I
saying.
think-
There's stuff in there that just like his,
But I think if like you talk about aging, like even eating certain types of foods, like that
Absolutely.
can also like slow. So there are answers to that. But you talking about gravitational pull and the speed, all that.
Yeah, but
That's-
I'm focused on carbon dioxide because that is causing everything to die off, regardless. I mean, I don't know why carbon dioxide. It just popped in my head. It just was a thought, so I don't know why. But
Starts
the whole push
somewhere.
of global warming is CO2 gases.
yeah.
All right. So you are here on Earth to unearth who on Earth you are.
That's
You are here on Earth to unearth who you are.
to understand who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I see that as
So if-
like
go ahead,
a
if you-
journey.
Yeah.
Like a journey that has a lot of like pillars into that. It's stuff like and everything is a journey. Don't think you have a final destination because everything and enjoy the journey and enjoy discovering who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than try to focus on say I want to reach to the destination. That's what I get that from that quote.
Okay. So everything really is a process. You got to enjoy that. Okay. The person you are becoming will cost you people, relationships, and material things. Choose you over everything.
Oh, that's common sense.
I live by that. I told my wife the other day that
You don't
I was here born. I was born by myself, and I'm gonna die by myself.
That's too personal.
Where's
to
this
on that
going?
side.
That's all right. He's just telling his truth. That's
Just
all.
being honest. At the end of the day, we're gonna die alone.
I can respect it.
Okay, the power of the pause allows wisdom rather than ego to talk. The power of the pause allows wisdom.
The pause.
Yeah,
Saying
pause.
stopping.
Yeah, it's just like when I say something to you and you give it a little bit of a pause,
Okay.
it allows wisdom to talk as opposed to your ego responding.
Sure, a better understanding.
They're just responding with just instead of reacting.
Right.
With the responding, you get a little more time to think.
All right. Think of yourself as a human magnet, constantly attracting what you speak, think, and feel. Think of yourself as a human magnet, constantly attracting what you speak, think, and feel.
You said concentrate on that.
I said, think of
about it.
yourself as a human magnet, constantly attracting what you think,
attracting.
speak, and feel.
Yeah, I can understand.
So when you run into a situation where it's not great and people are yelling, screaming at you, what are you supposed to think? You're a human magnet. You attracted that. So why did I attract that?
I mean, it depends on the scenario, but
Right?
yeah, because it'll be different answers of the scenario.
Yeah. Okay, remember, words are power, emotions are magnetic. So really how you're feeling is how you're going to attract to you. Think about like when it's your birthday, a lot of stuff that's going on doesn't bother you at all. But whereas if you get your car wrecked and next thing you run into this guy with a big mouth, or you run into, your wife is having a hard time at home, like I said, it's your feelings will actually throw that off a little bit.
I mean, it's different for everybody though. Like
It should be, yeah.
because it's like some like some people will get into accidents having to comfort the person that hit them. You know what I mean? So like you
Okay.
can't be.
That's a definitely different way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Yep,
So
that's
like,
good.
cause you gotta like see what's going on. Cause most of the time, it's for me it's more like just exploring and see what I can do. And like I take more responsibility because those responsibilities are gonna try to teach me. In every situation I'm in, right, I'm always thinking, what can I do better? And I look at it like that. No matter what it is, what can I do better? How can I be better next time? I don't fault like other people. I try not to fault other people. I mean, obviously, if they done something and they have to take that responsibility, but
Right.
try not to fault and just see what I can do better.
Yeah, every situation that happens, basically, you have a way you're looking at it. You know what I mean? And your way you look at it is going to determine whether it keeps happening.
Yeah,
Until you fix the way you look at something, then it's going to keep coming.
that's.
Your lesson's going to keep coming.
I'll tell you a story. I don't hate dogs and I don't really care for dogs, but
Yeah, dog.
yeah,
Dog.
dogs. There's this one time I just didn't want to be like around dogs. I didn't, I just didn't want them in my presence. So there's one time there was a dog, like a bulldog, that was not on a leash, and the dog out of nowhere just stayed at my porch for 4 hours. It wouldn't leave, and I couldn't open the door because
Give
it
me a
was gonna
call. I
come in.
got you.
Huh?
I'm a dog dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, but I'm saying I couldn't open the door because it was gonna come in. So like, I would chase it, it would go away, and it come right back. But like till that moment, I know that unless I dealt with that situation, it was gonna keep happening. I'm talking about the door came in at like 6 p.m. And like it wasn't taken away until like 12, like midnight. But I had to know I had to deal with that. Ever since like then, like dogs don't really like bother me, and I don't really care.
so that dog told everybody, don't go to this house?
No, it's more like it was
It's your
issues that I had
energy.
to deal
Yeah, it
with.
was
You
your
know what I'm saying?
energy.
For
Yeah.
that to not keep happening, because it wasn't like I wasn't scared. I just didn't like.
Yeah, you just
Yeah, I
don't
didn't
like
want him to touch me. I just didn't. I had
how we was
problems
raised.
with the dogs. You feel me?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
literally like until I had to deal with it. It never happened again. Interesting.
Yeah.
Good thing you ain't get bitten by a dog. 'Cause I got bitten
It
by a
was
pit bull.
aggressive as heck too, but it was just different.
Yeah. You got to think about when it's off a chain and it's not near its owner, it's going to be different. Just like
Yeah.
a child. You know what I mean? When you're away from your parent, you're,
Oh, for sure.
It depends though. I want because you can actually teach, you can actually show a child how to act around other people. So you can't say it's.
I'm
gonna be
saying
the same.
I teach my dogs how to act around other people too,
That, so
even
that-
without my presence. Yeah, you can. I mean, you can train almost anything. All right, this one's a hard one, so you got to think. The work of the eyes is done. Go now and do the heart work on the images imprisoned within you. So the work of the eyes is done. Go now and do the heart work on the images imprisoned within you. What is in the heart? The images that are imprisoned in your heart that you need to work on.
Things that you don't believe. Things that
Could
you
be,
don't.
yeah. It could
yeah,
be
that's from my
beliefs for
understanding.
sure. Yep. What else
Yeah.
is in there that you think is actually stopping you from being your true self? It's stopping
Negative
you from-
experiences, like traumatic experiences,
believe, yeah.
stuff like that. Just
So what can you do with the negative or traumatic experiences in your heart? How do you get rid of it?
do the opposite.
Do
Try
the
to like
opposite.
consume more positivity about that experience, or even learn about it and why it's affecting you. Like try to learn more about it.
Okay. So can you change the past?
Nah.
Absolutely not.
So what can you change? What's inside you? How can you change what's inside of you? By
How can you change what's inside of you?
yeah. Say I mean there's people that have had wild things happen to them. Say they're sexually molested.
Okay.
How can you change that inside of you? How do you do that heart work?
First, I think you need to like accept that happened
Mm-hmm.
and like expose it, like shed light to it, and
Because there's
try to-
shame and stuff
yeah.
like we were telling before. Yeah.
exactly. And then like after that, you want to take the like intention to like do something about it. You know, like not actually go back and try to relive that experience, but like do something positive into like, this happened to me, but it's not stopping me from being who I want to be.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that's
What ends up happening when people do run into hard situations like that, they end up being the leaders of groups
Yeah.
you know, for people
Yeah,
just to
help
come and
other
talk to help
people.
other people.
Yeah.
That's how, like I said, you put something in there different and not allowing what's in your heart to control you for the rest of your life, you know. You know, that's one of the worst ones. I mean, there's a little stuff, you know. Okay, a fresh start is not a place. It's a mindset. A fresh start is not a place. It's a mindset.
I can agree.
I mean, that's you look at it like this. Every time you start again, you got to see it the process. It's a process. So you discover something else new. So you got to start all over again.
Okay.
It's just being able to know that okay, last time I achieved this, and I need to start all over. To like a lot of inventors or scientists when they do the experiment, do something, it doesn't work, put it in the trash, start all over again. So they learn something from the previous.
Yeah, they don't start at
And,
zero.
you
Yeah,
know,
they start at
exactly.
wisdom.
So you
Yeah.
never start at zero. Like a fresh start is never zero. Even if as a human being, if like you like, I want to change an environment.
Mm-hmm.
The last environment you're in taught you a lot.
Yeah.
So take that, learn from that, because you can't change it, and then go
Just
again.
build on it. Okay.
That's a good idea.
This one's by Marcus Garvey. Okay, we're going to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery. For though others may free the body, none but ourselves can free the mind. Your mind is your only ruler. The man who is not able to develop and use his mind is bound to be a slave to the other man who does. What the heck is that saying? It starts out with, we're going to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery.
Move away from that.
Yeah, emancipate means move away from, or
Yeah.
replace with something else.
Mm-hmm.
So are there people who still think that there's a lot of racism stuff going on?
I mean, there is, but it's just how you
Mental
take it
slavery,
in.
Though.
Huh?
It's mentally slave though.
It's mental
You're
slavery.
holding yourself back by believing in that perspective.
Right.
I mean, let's not say it doesn't happen. It's how you think
Think
of
of
it.
it.
How you perceive
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, perceive it. Yeah, it
so
happens.
it's just if you're mentally slave, then you're gonna see it as like that's the problem, and never look at you because you're blaming, right?
Excuse, yeah.
Yeah, you're making excuses and you're blaming. So like that really doesn't help you.
Right.
It's just the way how you perceive it and how free you are mentally.
Yeah, which I agree with you. Just like how we discussed earlier, like a traumatic thing happened in the past, right? Can you go back and change that?
No,
You can't. And
but
that's
you can
that
learn from it.
you can learn from it, but if you keep holding on to it,
Yeah,
like you're holding yourself back just by like thinking about that every time. Like, oh, this is like you said, an excuse. People use that for an excuse, and like you want to. It happened. Now we're like 100 years ahead of it. You want to move forward a bit, and like obviously don't forget about your history, but at the same time, like every time you bring it back in your mind, it's like you're holding yourself back.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to this one. You are only rebellious in the eyes of those who cannot control or manipulate you. You are only rebellious in the eyes of those who cannot control or manipulate you.
Oh, the ones
do you
that don't
mean
got
by
power over
rebellious?
you. That's how I look at it.
I look at this
Because you
with,
can control them.
yeah, I look at this with students all the time because teachers think they're supposed to control the kids. And what do teachers think about kids? They're
They need to
rebellious. They need, the family needs to take care of this. Like I said, they blame everything instead of looking at themselves to understand. They're not supposed to control them. They're supposed to guide them. You know what I mean? They're going to make mistakes.
For
It's
sure.
how you look at their mistake. You can't look at their mistake, and you don't want us to look at our mistakes. It's like that's what you are.
Is that like in
Start
general? Though?
judging.
Like, I don't think.
It's not everywhere.
Teacher-
No,
in
it's
general,
not every
yeah.
teacher, but some teachers are a little more highly developed and they understand the process. You know what I mean? And like I said, if you don't understand the process, then you get stuck in that cycle of all kids are bad. You know,
That's like a small group of kids though, like that are like rebellious. Like
every
to
child,
paint that picture.
every
like, on a
child
whole-
is rebellious at
That's
one
true.
time in their life.
at one time in their life. But like you're
Correct.
talking about a scale of like kids.
Mm-hmm.
When I went
And-
to
and
school,
adults.
there was probably like few kids who were rebellious from my perspective.
From your
I
district.
don't think the teacher side, everybody like majority is rebellious.
My
Probably a
thing
small
is the
group.
only ones that this applies to you too. You're only rebellious in the eyes of those you cannot control and manipulate. So anybody that's worse than you, that's what you think of as rebellious. The other ones might just give
Yeah, that is common sense, though.
That's not rebellious. Just because
Rebellious
we
meaning
didn't
like
agree to
this.
something.
No, it's because you have a certain level of rebellion in yourself. They are more rebellious than you, so in your eyes, you can't control them or manipulate them. you look at them as rebellious.
Because you think it's common
It's
sense.
all like a spectrum, you know what I mean? But like I said, everybody's rebellious.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. If
Not
you're
all the time,
I'm
but
saying
at some
if you're
point
not
in
Maybe
life.
that
rebellious,
word rebellious is throwing me off. I see
Yeah.
it as a negative,
it's not negative.
perspective. You
It's
rebellious.
just going
like,
against the mainstream of what's going on. You could be rebellious and be in a good way.
Yeah.
I'm saying if I tell you, just slavery, the African American is only 3/5 of a human being. We should be rebellious against that.
yeah.
But that's a bull crap. You know what I mean? So like I said, rebellious, it's just basically I cannot control and manipulate them.
They can't
so-
confirm.
What do you mean by we should be?
What?
We should it should be we are.
We are rebellious against things, that
Yeah.
are not true. Yeah. Or truth.
To me, rebellious sounds like more actions involved, though. Like you're actively
So your
trying to go against
definition
it.
of
Definition.
rebellion
It's different.
might be a little bit different than mine. But I'm saying the idea is you should be rebellious. Because you should not be controlled.
I agree with that.
You
But I
should
won't
be
call
able
it
to control
rebellious.
yourself. Because if you can't control yourself, then that's when you force other people to try to control you.
You just gotta look at the words because like I was saying, words can mean depending on how you say it and when you say it, it can mean completely different thing. If you're like,
How about my next one?
yeah,
Words are the least reliable form of communication.
that's what I'm saying. So like, rebellious could be completely taken out of context. I mean, in the beginning, I thought he was like, yeah, I'm just like what is the word?
Being a rebel, like
yeah,
just totally.
But
going
no,
against
like
everything.
there's a word for it, like where you just like you're totally against everything,
Like an anarchist
yeah,
or something.
anarchist,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
straight.
Yeah.
But like, they just saying no, I'm not gonna do that. Like if you already have planned and you like, come on, let's do this. And you're like, no, I'm not gonna do that.
Understanding your
Because
morals.
It's just saying like
It doesn't
no
move
to
your
things.
needle as far as moving towards your.
But I don't
purpose.
want to paint that individual rebellious because they don't want to do what I'm trying to do. I'll just be like, that's your
by
own opinion,
That's
freedom.
by definition.
But I'm saying even you saying no to things that like other people ask you to do.
That's
like,
rebellious.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
being rebellious. It's
So
just-
y'all don't think I'm rebellious?
no,
that's
it's
everybody.
Not a bad
Because that
word.
can happen every day. Like
Yeah,
I can say no to
everybody,
my
I'm
mom. I can
rebellious.
say no to you. I
Yeah,
can say
yeah,
no
that's
to a lot
fine.
of
It's just
things.
your morals. That's all.
Yeah.
Rebellious is not a bad word. It's just
It's
how you
it's
say
strong.
it.
That word is
it's
strong
not
to
even.
me.
It's not even strong.
See, this is the problem. It's like if you think certain words are strong or weak, or you think things are good or bad, then basically the words are controlling you. So to get on the other side of not being controlled by words, just be aware and just watch and understand that it could mean anything.
Yeah, you right.
I mean, I don't even think it's that. I just think like it's different how his definition of that word is and to other people. But yeah, I mean, just depending on understanding that words when they're said, how they're said, have different meaning.
But should not elicit a really heavy response from you.
100%.
Because if they elicit a heavy response, that's telling you where you need to work on yourself. That, when it brings emotions up, then you got to work on yourself.
Yep.
Okay, the silence actually holds the secrets.
Yeah, for sure. Because you
Could be a couple different ways.
I mean, if you don't let it out, I mean, it's always going to
Yeah,
be
that's the general area. If you never said anything about it, that's going to hold that secret. How do you get a little deeper in that, though? The silence holds the secrets.
You have to be wise in order to just start with that silence approach. Like there's people who don't know any better. They're just quiet because they don't know what to say too. Are you calling them wise? Or you just
Are
don't
they
know?
wise? Because if they don't know, why are you even talking about it? You're observing, so you're actually learning.
Yeah.
I would call them wise. They're at that.
But they
first
can
level
say,
of
I want to
learning.
learn. Like you can ask. You can seek the knowledge too. You can actively seek
So
it.
how do you show somebody you want to learn? By asking?
I mean,
Or do you-
personally,
or do you
like
just observe?
that's how I learn.
So
Like
when I
first time?
physically say I want to learn something, I'm telling myself I don't know it. So as opposed to me just watching and learning,
By asking questions though.
yeah,
I can I'm obviously I have to listen in order to like consume what you're saying.
right?
But like if I just shut my mouth, there's gonna be a lot of things I'm like thinking and I wanna know from you, like to learn more that info. I might not ever see you again. Yeah, I might pick up things from you, but like, it's gonna be so many disconnects because I have so many thoughts to connect.
The only thing I'm saying is words are the worst form of communication. Even if I tell you what you think, you want to hear from me, it might not even be the truth. So your best way of learning is observing.
I can agree.
That's what I'm just
I
saying.
agree with
Yeah,
that. I agree
yeah.
with that.
Okay, so if you believe the noises of the world rather than the silences of your soul, you're going to be lost and plugged in. So the noises of the world will tell you a lot.
Society.
Yeah.
Controlled by
Whereas your
society.
soul will actually tell you what is true or truth.
Reality.
Okay? Yeah.
Spiritual.
Because a lot of times you get into word battles, and it's like you're trying to prove somebody right or wrong, and it's not about being right or wrong. It's about truth or not truth. Okay, see if you can accept this. Now, there's a lot of things I'm going to talk about towards the end here that you may say, "Oh no, I can't do that," but you have
Listen
to open
in.
your mind up to maybe you can. There is no struggle, no pain or worry. There's only experience.
I can accept that.
Yeah, I mean, if we go back to what we said earlier, you're here on earth to unearth yourself, right? So everything that you're going through, those are not struggles, whatever. Those are
Blessings.
the journey,
Or the
those,
process. Yeah,
yeah,
journey
the
of process.
process
Yep,
of
yep.
where you need, where you unearthing yourself.
So I was going to finish my sentence here. There's no struggle, pain, or worry. There's only experience in which you can label any way you wish.
So if you
Facts.
label your experience as struggle, then that's
Correct.
what it
Now
is.
you got to struggle.
Yeah, I can
If you
agree.
can label your experience as opportunity, those are the people we want to try to emulate you to be. Yeah, you don't want to. There is no struggle. There is no pain. There's no worry.
Yep.
It's all self-inflicted.
I'm gonna be the.
It's hard.
No, I'm saying I'm gonna act like the plugged in one.
The
What you
dummy.
talking about people struggling every day.
That,
Devil
It's
advocate.
funny.
and still, and
No, I'm just
and that's why they do because
I'm just
you're
messing.
saying that.
No, it's just like it's how you label your your process, right?
Right.
Your experience. So if you labeling your
So are you
process as
supposed to
struggle,
label it?
No,
Or are you
not-
supposed to just experience?
Experience it,
Experience that
and
'cause
then
you unearthing
understand it at the
yourself.
end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you don't know. I mean, you're learning.
Hold up.
Go ahead. I knew I was gonna get solid. He's smiling, holding it.
Oh, man.
I'm trying to hold this.
You know, I gotta ask. You know what I
Ask.
mean?
Go
I
ahead.
gotta
Go
ask.
ahead.
You said we're not supposed to label it,
Right.
but then again, your original statement was like, "There's no struggle, there's no pain, it's only experience."
Right.
But because that I label it as an experience, should it not be a label in itself? I didn't think about it as being a label.
Experience itself is not really a label. It's just saying that something's happening.
Yeah,
Okay. Now, you have the choice to label it what you want to make it.
and that's what defines it though. Like that's
Right.
what makes the words beautiful. Like
That's
I don't
exactly-
have
you're
to make it a
explaining-
damn struggle. I'd be like, man, that was an opportunity I learned
You're
from.
explaining exactly what I just said.
But that's a label too. From opportunity to struggle, you just choosing opportunity over struggle.
Correct. And the more you choose opportunity over struggles, the more opportunities you're going to find.
Facts.
Okay.
So I'm gonna label it. I'm gonna label it opportunity.
That's okay.
All right.
Okay. What you want to do is make sure it works for you.
Yeah.
I'm saying if it doesn't work for you, I'm going to get into that because the HEBs, it's like what it is and does it work? And if what it is and it don't work, then they just don't do it. Instead of us, we just keep pushing and pushing and trying to make it work somehow.
I think
Go ahead.
I think the way labeling, you either like put it in one category or like not, So I think experience is just like unearthing, because it's just unearthing yourself. You
live in it.
Yeah,
That's
you
what I
live
look
in
at
it.
it,
So
yeah.
it's not really a label. You're learning,
You're experiencing
experiencing,
it,
and
yeah.
actually finding out who you are.
Right.
So it's not like because you can't, if you're learning and like living through it, you can't like put stuff in certain whatever, because you're still
Categories.
in that.
We like
you
to
know.
categorize it because
Yeah.
we can control it.
Yeah.
When
But
you-
wouldn't you say the most like proactive, dangerous like decision is when you actually label it? Yeah, you living through the experience.
whenever you
but
label
if you
something,
don't
you
wear it,
limit it.
Yeah.
you limit it.
You limit it to
Why,
that
why would
label.
you say that?
Think about it. Why would I say that?
I feel like
Where's
when
the
you
power?
don't label it, you limit it. You
Where's
get
the
to
power?
choose
It
your
could
control.
be. It could be unlimited if I don't label it. I'm saying this is how I explain it.
Because
It's
you
one-
put it in a box, so
Yeah.
it's like organizing, right?
It's like labeling you.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
a whatever, a business financial guy. That's not what you are.
But
That's
my
your job. You
my
have right
tragic,
now.
like I'm always looking.
Trajectory.
I was gonna say my tragic
Trajectory.
My trajectory
Yeah.
is always up. It's always looking
Okay.
upward.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm never gonna label it to like something to limit it. I'm always gonna make it something positive, like worth going after. Like
Okay, you might be able to get something from this example. This one guy I watched, his name is Wayne Dyer. He said he was walking through like an aviary, not an aviary, but what do you call that with all the flowers and stuff? It's over in
Oak Cliff.
Fibs.
Oak Cliff, Fibs,
Yeah.
yeah.
conservative.
Conservatory. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Conservatory,
yeah.
yeah.
So he's walking through, and he's just smelling the flowers. He's enjoying it. It's just an experience.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's a professor walking beside him. He's like, well, that is this, that is that, that is that. So that's his ego talking. He's labeling every little thing. This guy's walking through could care less what the name of it is.
We just
'Cause we
care
want
about
to
the
label
beauty.
everything. We want to make sure we can control everything. What you got to get your own. experience to be is just, experience it.
But I'll forget it that way though. Like if I
You forget
if I
it.
be
Never-
like,
you'll never forget
it was
it
a
'cause
good experience.
you
Like
don't
those
have to
flowers
remember
smells
it.
good. Yeah,
Right,
like,
yeah,
I
you
remember
remember
that.
a
because I
flower
labeled
good.
that it smelled good. The next time
That's
I'm
not a
gonna remember
label.
that.
That's just a sense.
Yeah, that's how you feel.
Yeah.
That's what I look at as a label though. It's like the words I speak out.
All right, we'll move on. Okay, your mind isn't your brain. Your mind is in every cell of your body. Ooh, I just got deep.
Yeah, for sure. It controls everything, from my understanding.
So
Every
think
cell.
about your mind. Your mind is your conscious mind, your subconscious mind, and your superconscious mind. All that, they're like, where is it? It's in every cell of your body.
100%.
So in the cells that are in your feet, it still has a mind in that cell.
For sure. You get something hitting your foot, you're going to say, ow. You felt that shit.
But you always go to that's good. Ow. You hit your toe. Ow.
I mean, only to add more into that, like in the Quran, it states that when you're going to be held accountable, you're not just going to have your mouth like speak against you. Your hands, your feet, all the things you've done will actually speak for in terms of your deeds.
Okay.
So
That
everything
means
it
everything.
has its own mind. So you washing your hands dirty or something, you doing something like by dirty I'm talking about like doing like drugs and stuff, like doing dirty stuff with your hands. You might not spit it out what you did, but your hands are gonna speak their mind.
I like the point.
So it's basically like don't abuse, because like they have the mind of their own, like
Yeah, they're gonna
you're
witness.
saying. They're witnessing everything.
Everything going to come in light.
Yeah.
Think about if your toe goes black. Well, I mean, just like being like cancerous or being something else. I mean, that could kill you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it spreads.
It'll spread through your
Yeah.
whole body. So how your mind is going to control your body.
Understood.
I get what you're saying. I feel like if you break it to that analogy, I think what that is saying is whatever you put in your mind. Like say for example, I'm gonna give an example. Yesterday we were playing the game. Before we were playing the game, one of the players was like, "We're playing that team. We're not ready to play that team that first." You know what I'm like, dude? Like, why you worried about that? Like, just have fun. But that's what I'm saying. Once you put that in your mind, then you're not able to perform. You're not because that controls the whole
you're
body.
You're
So
getting to
you,
the
like,
point where it actually,
Yeah.
controls everything. That's
Yeah.
good.
If
The
you
opposite,
start
I like a weak-ass
miskicking,
team.
yeah, you start miskicking, can't defend right. But that's just it's. I get what
Your
you're
mind
saying.
is controlling.
Yeah.
That's crazy though, because I was totally like on the opposite edge of what you
Yeah.
said. I thought they were a weak ass team. I thought we guys score way more goals.
No, it just like I get it though. Like whatever you let in can, like even if you are confident, you like one negative thing
Yeah.
controls the whole thing.
100%. It's
Okay,
crazy.
every thought of yourself as smaller than you really are is a denial of me,
A denial of who?
God.
Read
So
the
you're taking them
thing.
away.
Every thought of yourself as smaller, every thought of yourself as smaller than you really are in denial of me. So think about it.
You're just taking away God from the thought because it's not working from my understanding.
Okay. Could be your ego talking. Because you say you boxing somebody that's 6'8" and a thick brother. I mean, but every thought that you have in your body that you're smaller than anything is a denial of your source.
That's doubt.
Every word about yourself that puts you down is a denial of me. So think about that. Every thought, every word that's not unlimited is actually a denial of your source.
Yeah,
I'm sure we've had a few of those.
Yeah, for sure.
Hopefully you're not doing it anymore. Every action of not good enough or lack or insufficiency of any kind is a denial of me. So all those three things, whether it's a thought, a word, or an action, that's how you create, is a denial of your source. So everything that comes out of your mouth that, like I said, you're nasty, you're anything that comes bad out of your mouth is a denial of who you truly are yourself.
Or taken away from your source.
Yeah. And it's taken away from you too because
Yeah.
you are part of your source.
Yeah, agreed.
So every act is an act of self-definition.
Every act that
Is an act of self-definition.
is defining you.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree.
All right.
No, I agree with that.
Hold
It's
on.
just my problem is
You got to get your
I
mind
try
around
to I
it.
try to do this. Try to tell people the same
So when you try,
based on their actions.
is that good or bad?
If I do what? If I
If you
try.
try something, is that good or bad?
Nah.
Nah, you tried. So this,
that would be like saying I'm gonna try to meet you at 5:30. Is that good or
no.
bad?
There's no
It
trying.
don't work.
If I
Yeah,
say
either
I'll
do
be
it or
there,
you're not gonna do it.
But how can
No,
I
no.
give that knowledge out without
Just
making
take
people
try
feel
out
some
of your
type
mouth
Yeah,
is what I'm
it's
trying to tell you.
called
Try
time
is what's
management.
holding you back from your
Yeah.
potential.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You cannot try anything.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
All that is an
You gotta
excuse
do
for
it.
not following through. You either do it or no.
yeah.
I
saying
think you
the
guys
more-
misunderstood me.
Okay, let's hear.
You
it.
didn't even say your whole statement.
Yeah, I didn't get to complete. The
Your
thing
try-
is,
your try
that's what I'm
threw me
saying
off.
is I agree heartily with that statement. You said every
Every act
action
is an act of self-definition.
self-definition, which I
Right.
100% agree.
Okay.
And then when I'm talking about from a second person, like I'm talking to Wavy, I'm trying to explain to him that every action he's doing, no matter how big, how small, is defying him from my eyes. But some people don't like when you try to tell them that, they think you're judging them and they give you all this, back talk. It's like you're just trying to help them out. Like if you want to better yourself, you need to like go to the grain of things, like your actions are saying a lot about you.
So when I tell Wavy every act is an act of self-definition, I'm not going to sit there and tell him what he's doing wrong.
just by saying that, you're
Right.
they feel like
But
you're
I'm saying
attacking.
it hits the way it hits.
Yeah, he can't change me. I
right.
gotta
He has to
believe in
change himself.
myself.
That's
Yeah.
all. Yeah.
It bothers me though. It bothers me.
It
Like,
bothers
I see good in you, and I'm trying to tell you.
But I'm
better
saying,
look
if you,
at
if you
yourself.
see it, just let it happen.
Yeah.
Just experience it. Don't name it, label it. Don't name it. Don't. It's not your job. Yeah. It's his job to do himself.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's
When
not
you, when
controlling.
you try to do it for him,
Yeah.
you're ruining yourself because
Yeah.
you can't think about yourself and control yourself when you're trying to control somebody else.
I
You're
can
out of
only do
bounds.
one thing.
Yeah, I'm very controlling. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
So I already told. I don't know who I told this one of, but why are no two snowflakes alike? There's a reason.
Oh, I already
God,
know
bro.
that.
Yeah, I told you.
Yeah. But I feel like
What
I
do
had
you
an
think about
idea
it?
though.
Go ahead. What's your idea? Maybe they'll pick it up.
I mean, the definition, like, when we talked about it, is because, God doesn't do, copies.
Right. God is a creator.
Made
Yeah.
differently.
So as a creator,
He
you
doesn't
cannot
duplicate.
copy.
yeah.
Two different things. Just like
Crazy
not
thing.
try, you either do or you don't do. The closer you get to that, the closer you are to what God is.
Yeah. Like,
But I think like my older way I understood that, like, why snowflakes are never the same. It's just that
Boy, if you could explain this, you're gonna be a genius.
ah,
I'm just
No.
dropping it a little bit.
No,
Are you
you
talking
gotta-
about scientifically
no,
explanation?
not
or-
scientifically. I'm talking about, he's the, special one. If you look at it like this, you will never, if something is so special, it will never be duplicated. So like God being the special one, he's never gonna have something that is the same the whole time. Like he's always gonna be different because he's a special one.
yeah.
And that's just more evidence for us humans to believe that there is a God. Like,
For sure,
imagine
yeah.
how many snowflakes snow all the time, and each of them is different by like a middle school, and you don't believe in God. Can you do that?
Think about 7 or 8 billion people, and then all the people that have been here before us.
Yeah.
And none of them's the same.
It's crazy. Like
No
even
DNA is the same.
it gets
no
That
crazy
shit
with the,
fingerprint.
with the
blows my mind.
fingerprint. Yeah.
I'm just saying that's the idea of to try to get just a glimpse in what God is.
I don't know what y'all talking about. The Big Bang does all that.
Yeah, the rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, little tadpoles
Yeah,
turn
it
into
does
It was
all that.
accidental.
Yeah,
Turned
man,
into-
the Big
turned into
Bang does all
monkeys
that.
and-
You guys got to stop playing with the Big Bang.
Let it happen again.
I can't believe that flew back then. As far as the idea. Okay, now we're talking about the difference between being a reactive being and a creative being. Can you tell me the difference between the two?
A reactive being and a creative being.
Yeah.
Reactive is when they usually react quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Creative is they think about the idea and decide to do it.
Okay.
Make a decision.
That's definitely the difference between the two. Okay. So living as a reactive being, you can't promise anything without it containing a lie.
You can't promise what?
You cannot promise anything without it containing a lie. Why? As a reactive being, you can't promise anything.
Because nothing's a promise. Because you ain't promised, from my understanding.
It's a little deeper than that. Think about a reactive being, what he does or what she does.
I mean, you don't
Can't
have.
promise you anything.
You haven't thought of. I think if being reactive and you're trying to create something, you haven't thought of, your steps and what you need to take. You haven't thought of what you need to create. You just speaking
Mhm.
without any
Proof.
foundation of what you're trying to do, right? So
Okay.
without foundation, you're gonna either don't have what you need, you're gonna be late, you're gonna be unsure what you want to do. So without foundation, you really can't come up with anything that you need to do.
So it's hard to make promises on something if you're a reactive being. Because things happen all the time and you just react to that thing. That's now controlling you.
Are you going off of that? And the question that you just asked.
Yeah, it's reactive being.
Okay,
Yeah, so I'm
I
trying to explain the
understand.
difference. Okay, this is why you can't be mad if someone doesn't follow through on what they say.
Because you're not in
Most
control
people-
I
of it.
learned that. hard
Yeah,
way.
most people are reactive beings. How do you get to be a creative being?
Just let it be.
Let it be, observe,
Mm-hmm.
wisdom,
Understand it.
Move your own route.
understanding. Okay, you have to make those efforts and get to that point where you can actually create your future. The only way you can do that is by not reacting.
Yeah.
Okay, to become a creative being, you have to bring wisdom, you have to bring understanding into a situation, and to know that you're not going to, go into every argument that's going on around you. You know what I mean? To know that when somebody does something, that's their lesson.
That involves a lot of patience.
Oh, it's a lot of patience. It's a lot of learning. And like I said, though, when you're dealing with somebody, if they're a reactive being or a creative being, I've met too many creative beings, to tell you the truth. It's hard to get to that point.
What do you mean by creative being?
We're getting it right now.
'Cause
So
I'm
they-
a creative being. I
if
don't know
they
what you're
reach the
talking about.
status,
Tell them.
if they reach the status of a creative being, they're able to create their future. So they're not living or they're not lying when their words become their flesh. Okay, when God's word become our flesh, we can actually keep our promises to everybody. The idea is what you say has to become your flesh. Like if he says he's going to be somewhere, I know he's going to be there. It's not even a question. Okay, but he'll say no if he has something else going on at that time.
Sure.
But that's the way you want to get to. I don't care what it is. It could be a fire in the basement. And I mean, it's like if I say I'm going to be there, I might call somebody to put the fire out. I'm going to be there. But can you get to that point without making your words your flesh? That's the idea. But the whole idea is to try and take God's words and make them your flesh. So
Yeah.
if I ask you a question, I already know the answer if you have God's word as your flesh. So that's actually becoming a creative being. You can actually promise something and you know it's going to come to pass. Okay? Okay, life isn't forgetting, it's forgiving. What's the difference? Life isn't forgetting, it is forgiving.
From a forgetting point of view, you got to remember it happened to you, so it won't happen to you again.
Okay?
Forgiving is like when you don't have to always have that in your mind when you have to deal with the situation. So
Okay. So when you're giving, is that for you or for the other person?
what you're giving is for you, most likely. How you feel after you give.
Why? Here we go. Going down the
What's the
hole.
reason? That's
When
why.
you give to
You got
somebody else, it's for you. But why?
You asked this plenty of times.
You got it. You got it.
I
There's
don't
got to be a
no.
reason. Anybody. I'm not trying to hurt nobody.
All right.
No, you ain't hurting.
No,
nobody.
just trying to.
When you give it,
When you're giving to somebody else, why is it for you?
I mean, that's when you're happiest when you giving and growing.
Okay, giving and growing. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're happiest. Okay, I'm not talking about being happy. I'm just talking about why is it for you?
Yeah, well,
I'll say it's for you because like everything you're doing is from within yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're giving, technically it's like you're giving to yourself. So it
Absolutely.
just comes back to that. I mean, that's how I see it. But also like there's a saying like I can forgive you, but I won't forget. But when I'm forgiving you, in terms of that forgiveness, forget will come within time.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, me forgiving you is for me, for
Okay,
myself.
you went all the way around it.
Yeah.
The idea is when you give to somebody else, and it's really for you, because there really is nobody else. You only know one person.
Damn right.
You only know yourself. You only control yourself. So when you give to somebody else, you actually get happiness. You get a feeling that you have that. And that's what actually makes you mad. When you don't have something, that's when you're regretting. You're trying to hustle and get whatever. But when you give, that just tells you that you had it.
Mm.
So that's the idea.
you got it.
And once
bro.
you had it, then you don't no longer desire it because you just had it. And you just gave it away.
But pride. You got
Yeah.
pride in that too, Lynn. You gotta be careful sometimes.
The reason why it's true is because you and all others are one. Okay, what you do for another, you therefore do for you. Okay, that's like a truth you got to get. Okay, what you fail to do for another, you fail to do for you.
What you failed to do for another.
Yeah.
That ain't none of my business. I'm gonna keep it real with you.
You got to understand, this is one that's going to hurt you a little bit. If you fail to do it for another person, you're actually failing to do it for yourself.
That's why it hurts me when I see people like. That's why I'm always conflicted, Lean. When I'm trying to help people, it hurts me when I feel like the fact they're not understanding why I'm trying to help them out. Like I'm helping myself technically. That's what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So their failure is technically hurting me too. So that's the issue I'm having on a daily basis. That's why I'm like, what do you do here?
Well, the biggest thing is you can do one of two things. You can either project onto somebody else, which is what you're doing because you see somebody struggling and you think it's your struggle. It's not your struggle. It's their struggle. Or you can hold them accountable. Say if they're acting a fool, holding them accountable, though, is actually holding them to a truth that God has.
Yeah.
That's only two things. So you're doing one of two things. You're either projecting or you're holding them accountable. So if they're cutting up and it's not really that bad, but you feel bad and you think you can change it, now you're projecting your insecurity onto them. So really you're hurting them more than you're helping them.
Mm.
That's what you got to understand. You know, if you're holding them accountable, if you just say the truth and that person gets to sit with it, that's all you can do. You know what I mean? Let the truth,
hold them
the truth
accountable.
actually will. But you understand, holding them accountable has to be to something. Not holding them accountable to what you think. It's holding them accountable to what God says. That's the difference. You know, it's either projection or holding accountable. That's all it is. There's one or
Gotcha.
two. So if it's not what God said and it's what you say, you're not projecting.
Hey, I'm a child of God, so everything I say is directly God.
Okay, so what is good for
Indirectly.
another is also good for you.
What's good?
So
What?
if it's good for another person, it's also good for you.
Depends what you're talking about, but yeah.
Okay. So when you're in a relationship with another person that exists as a vehicle for you to decide, declare, create, to express, to experience, and to fulfill your highest notion of who you really are. That's what relationships are. Okay, understand that when you're in a relationship, that's when it's going to come out, you know, if something you do bothers the other person. You know, it's, you know, how you react to it, you know. Like I said, you and your wife are supposed to become one, and it's not easy. I was just telling him today, she's in Seattle, you know, taking care of business, and I'm like, I'm the one doing all the work.
Yeah.
But that's because we're one.
Teamwork.
We get a lot of stuff done because,
I like it.
you know, yeah.
So I compromise.
You can look at it as compromise or getting stuff done. Okay. You cannot truly give to another for the simple reason there is no other. What the heck are we talking about?
Repeat that again.
You cannot truly give to another for the simple reason there is no other.
Can I give to another? I ain't getting it's
One more
flying
time,
over
one more
my
time.
head.
That's what I'm trying to stretch
Tongue
your
twister
brain.
here.
You cannot truly give to another for the simple reason there is no other. So if we are all one, then there really is only you.
Yeah, you give in to yourself.
Okay.
You gotta wrap your mind around it. It's hard. I know. It's
I mean, it ain't
it's like
hard.
we in the gym a little
Sometimes
bit.
it just don't make sense.
Yeah,
That's all.
it don't make sense.
Nah, I mean, it does
at the
make sense.
moment.
It just says, like, we all here one, you know? If you're one, everything you're doing is just back to that one, even
For
though
sure,
it
everything.
doesn't physically look like that. But, like, if
It's
you
how
look at
it's how
bigger
it's
picture,
how,
yeah.
how you perceive it.
Yeah.
What's the word universe mean? What's una mean?
Unit.
One. What's a
Yeah.
verse? Like a song.
A
We're
whole,
all
like,
one.
the whole, like something in whole.
Yeah, it's all one person, one thing.
Okay.
Okay, it's much more difficult to free someone than to control them. When you control them, you get what you want. When you free someone, they get what they want. So it's more difficult to free them than it is to control them.
It's easier to control them because you tell them what to do. But
This is where your mind got to
yeah.
switch.
I'm just saying it's common
You're
sense.
correct. It's easier to control. But,
But
really, I'm
when you
telling
let them free, that's when they make more mistakes and they feel like I need my control again.
Not
Okay,
even
so
that.
if you have that control, you're not giving them the freedom to make mistakes.
I do it. I'm just saying in general. I don't
So
like
that goes back
controlling
to
nobody.
observing instead of interacting. Okay, so the idea is, like I said, it's more difficult to free them. So that's more like love. You know, love is acceptance.
It's hard to accept, too.
It's really hard to accept because they might be making the same mistake 10 times and they're just not getting it.
Forget that. I feel more threatened when they're free.
Why would you see their freedom as your threat?
I'm not speaking personally, but I'm talking about in terms of like that statement is very true. It's easier to control us, but when you give us free, we have the ability to like control you now, and that could come with force. I come with anyways. So
Okay.
I'd rather control you to keep myself safe, and that's why that's how the society works right now.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you're looking at that's what the government is too.
Exactly,
Like,
yeah.
they're thinking exactly the same. If we give you the freedom, then you can force and control us because that's and they could do it by force. It just that's where like and if like that's where it happens in a lot of these situations. Like a lot of people, their souls are telling them, hey, you gotta let this person free, but they're scared, right? They have fear, like, okay, if I do this, then that's gonna flip, and now I'm gonna be,
That's why
I'm gonna be the
society's like this
control.
today. Yeah,
You guys
Because of
saw the
that.
Matrix, right? I mean, that was the whole idea of control. Being plugged in. Okay.
I don't blame it though.
Well, everything you think, say, and do declares this is who I am. So think about everything you think, say, and do declares this is who I am.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Why not?
Everything you
You
like,
think, say, and do declares this is who I am.
that's what you might think, but realistically, it's not. You create your own idea of who you are, not everything that you do.
That's think.
Yeah.
So everything you think, say, and do declares this is who I am. Think
I'm
about
not
it.
still agree.
I agree with the stand, but I do want to help them out because I kind of want to push back on that too. Because there's people who plays facades, like celebrities. They say things like there's a lot of propaganda going on. Like you can say things to influence.
So is
certain
that who
group.
they are?
That's what we don't know. They could be paid for to doing that. Like an actor is being paid to act.
Right.
When they're acting, is that who they are?
They're acting.
They're acting. That's who they are.
So
They're an
not
actor.
who they are. They're
But you say everything that you do, think, or say is who you are. That's what I'm saying. Like you
Correct.
can play a role, but that doesn't mean I am.
It does. You're in that role as doing it.
I guess you're right. I ain't even gonna argue that one.
I'm just saying, that, like I said, it's hard sometimes, with the words.
Because I could bullshit right
Right.
now and tell you I'm doing this, but I'm really not.
So
it's
that
not
makes you a
true.
bullshitter.
Yeah, I'm
That's
just
all.
bullshitting at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what you are.
Temporarily, that's what I'm doing.
yeah, temporarily, that's who you are.
Temporarily, you're that.
Yeah.
That's all.
Ain't
That's
nothing
all it's
wrong with
saying.
that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Saying that who I am is like that's you defining me now. Like,
I don't define you. Define you by
Yourself,
what you
yeah.
think, say, and do. Okay.
I guess we change all the time.
Evolution or
Of course,
change.
you have to change.
Absolutely. You always evolve. Evolution or change happens with or without your cooperation. This kind of
That's
goes back.
common sense.
Okay.
Time's gonna keep.
The
on
issue is
ticking.
whether change is going to be something that happens to us or through us. Remember, to me, by me,
Yeah.
through me, as me.
I can agree.
So you have that
Okay.
choice. Change is going to happen regardless. If you want it to happen to you, then you're going to blame everybody. Everything's going to happen. If you want it to happen through you, then you have more control
Right.
over what's going on. Okay? That's what we're trying to get. So what you think you create, what you create you become, what you become you express, what you express you experience, what you experience you are, so what you are you think. It's almost like a closed loop. It goes from think to create to become to express to experience, and then you are that. And it goes back to thinking. So once you're in there, that's how it works. Okay, now this is going to try and pull your brain off your head and put it in the chair.
You've been doing that. Right?
All of your life, you've been told that God created you.
Mm-hmm.
I have come to tell you, you are creating God. What the Fiji?
Yeah,
mountain
in
is
your
that?
own mind, as I look at it.
Okay, you're
I can
creating
agree.
in your own mind.
Cause you got you like you said before, like he's as big as
I
you.
got y'all punch drunk.
You said as he's
Like,
you said he's as big as you make him. It's,
correct.
so yeah,
The God
it's
you
the
see
same.
is the God you get.
Yeah, I feel like that one was easy.
That one's easy
Yeah.
on the surface.
It's easy on the
This
surface,
would cause chaos in every religion on the map.
Oh, okay.
Not
How do you
really.
create God?
Big, like you gotta think about it like this. His laws and his what is it called?
His principles.
will not allow him to come here in human form.
Right.
You are representing him.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So you are like in this earth, like you're here to unearth. 'Cause I'm looking at the same, you like the same like wavelength. That's the whole thing, right? So as you're uncovering yourself, you're creating him because you are representing him as, in this earth.
Okay.
So you're creating him.
Okay. In every moment, God expresses himself in, as, and through you. You and I are one, so you're actually defining God.
Liam,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Come on. I was looking for some.
You know, Mo's gonna add.
He's
I
talking third
I do
person.
agree with that statement to a
Okay.
certain degree.
I'm
But
not
then
saying it's right
again-
or wrong. This is new to me. This is the first time I read this.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
like,
this blew my mind too because now I'm thinking about the scriptures now. Like they say certain things and God's
Every-
attributes and stuff.
I know every religion has its
If
own
you
creation of God.
if you like agree with that statement, you're going against like that scripture, like the Quran, the Bible.
You got to come with something, though. Bro.
Yeah.
'Cause
I mean,
that's-
I'm just
if
saying,
you ain't-
like-
you
Say
ain't
it's a
got nothing
scripture or
on
something.
deck. I know.
Nah, it's not something
Because
I
I don't.
find, 'cause
I have
do
a lot
agree.
of scripture in my head,
Uh-huh.
but I don't have anything that goes against it.
But it sets that blueprint,
not.
though.
It did not feel right when I read it.
I think the reason why, because you were scared.
No, I think the reason why is that I have some beliefs in me that were instilled in me through, whether reading the scripture or other people.
The
It
belief,
just don't feel right.
what was instilled in you was meant to, you know what I mean?
Mental control.
Not to control, but to humble you. That's what I would say,
Could be.
right? So those are the things that let's just humble him. Because you got to look at it, Islam, most of it is discipline, right? You have to do this, this, and this, and this. Like it just gives you discipline. And discipline gives, freedom. I can't speak for Christianity because I don't know.
Christianity is just acceptance.
Yeah, so I can't, but I know that all these religions have something that give you something that
There's
you
some
can,
characteristics into them.
See,
to that.
understand this though. God never created a religion. Man created all religions.
I agree, but God's words was the reason why. I mean, I understand what you're saying.
I'm just saying. And God, if anything that divides is not from God.
Because religion is to help you to get back to God. Like every religion is just to help you back to. They give you
try to
guidance.
make
yeah,
try
it
to
just
make
gives
us
you guidance to.
back in.
And that's
right.
what I'm saying. If that's why I have to I only agree to a certain level because we need that guidance. We need that blueprint. If I say I'm gonna create my own God, everybody create their own God. Everybody's gonna have these
That's what's going on
wild
right now.
ideas of God, and
Everybody
you
does.
gonna
That's
have your
what's
own
happening,
religion.
though.
You gonna have his own religion.
But that's-
and then we need a source though. Like if you creating your own bullshit, is that really God?
But I'm saying that's what's happening. You gotta look at
Everybody
it
do.
as Islam, Christianity,
Oh, there's a million of them. Yeah, The
Judaism, this
Hinduism.
Hindu, blah blah. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
And they're
so
going.
it's
So
top five.
That's creating your own God. That's where it starts. Though.
So
that's where it
that's
starts.
what you that's.
If you're
All
not
right.
following the book back front to cover, you know what I mean, then
All right,
you're gonna
just,
fall
let's
off.
keep moving. Okay.
You're gonna
Life
fall off,
exists
bro.
as a tool. Life exists as a tool for God to turn concept into experience.
Yeah, you read that one time.
Yeah, life exists as a tool for God to turn concept into experience. Because without experience, I mean, you could read all you want as far as trying to learn how to swim. If you don't get in the water, you ain't gonna know how to swim.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking about it in a different level though.
What do you think?
I'm
about
thinking about it. So, this universe is
Mm-hmm.
an experience. I mean, it's a
process?
a concept
concept.
from God,
Mm-hmm.
but an experience for us, right? So I'm looking at it like that.
Mm-hmm. That's what it says.
exactly
Life
what it
exists
is.
as a tool for God to turn concept into experience.
Yeah. So His concept is our experience.
Yes.
I can agree.
I mean, that's like in the Quran. Like that's basically what it states.
Okay, God knows that denial is for those who are choosing to have the illusion continue, and acceptance is for those who choose for the illusion to end.
Illusion of what?
Illusion of you and God are one.
Of course. Because
Understandable.
you have some, what is it called? Traits,
Mm-hmm.
his DNA. You're basically like hand in hand.
Okay. All right, 3 steps to God: acceptance, proclamation, and demonstration. Acceptance of who and what you really are, proclamation for all the world to hear it, and demonstration in every way. For the moment you stop denying yourself, others will deny you. All right?
Deny yourself and what again?
Not being one with God.
Okay, understandable.
Okay. The moment you proclaim your oneness with God, others will proclaim your partnership with Satan.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they don't believe the same thing you believe as far as the oneness with God, they're thinking, well, it's got to be
must be
negative.
with
That's
It
the
must be
devil
with-
right
it must
there.
be
That's
with
the-
the
That's
the
why you
devil.
create your own God. That's the issue right there.
The moment you speak the highest truth, others will say blasphemy. That means something against God.
Oh, they'll say what?
They'll say blasphemy. It's a word that
Blasphemy.
they use. Yeah, it's like if you're blaspheming, that means you're going against what God
Can you read
says.
that one more time?
Yeah, it says the moment you speak the highest truth, others will say blasphemy.
Yeah, those are the controlling ones. I say that.
Yeah. Okay, I got to move on to the HEBs here in a second. You can't have advanced technologies and get benefits without advanced thinking. Okay, when this guy was doing it's a book series like 1, 2, 3. It's called Conversations with God, and just the thought of it, can you communicate with God? It's like that doesn't even sound right. That sounds like blasphemy. But when I'm reading it, it's like it just feels right. Some of the stuff, it's more like spiritualism type stuff as opposed to any type of, doesn't really choose any type of religion. But you can't have advanced technologies and benefits without advanced thinking. So why don't we have, what did you call that one thing you're talking about? Not telekinesis, but
Teleportation.
teleportation. Why don't we have that right now?
This ain't no advanced thinking.
Right. So our thinking is still kind of
Teleportation.
low.
Low.
Yeah. We're not evolved enough to actually have that going on because we would be just probably popping into showers and popping, like I said, we'd
I
be
don't
doing
know.
That's dangerous.
I don't know if that's possible, but we'll see.
anything's possible.
Okay, I'm here to see.
Yeah. He's like, I want to be around. You
He
might
said
be
we
around.
moving
I
slow
might
right
not,
now.
I might not be here. Okay.
For real, bro. Like, we ain't done shit. 2000 what, something? I don't even know, but yeah, we ain't done shit.
Okay, as far as evolution, your definition, I want you to try and get the purpose of observing what serves you and making behavioral adaptations. You keep moving towards unity and away from separation. The idea of evolving is just observing what's going on, and you actually change your behaviors to actually move towards unity and away from separation. Unity is the ultimate truth. So if we cannot come together,
yeah.
so what is everybody trying to do
And
in
what?
this world to keep us from unifying?
I mean,
They try to
for us,
divide. Yeah,
yeah.
they try to bring
Fighting.
the racism. They try to bring this, try to bring all that stuff. Okay. Evolution is a process which we as humans actually have control over. How far you evolve depends upon how much truth you put in yourself. All right? We can't control principles because principles are actually God's automation, like gravity and different principles like that. We can't control that stuff, but we can control, evolution. Conscious evolution is a principle based on observation. We are all one. There is more than enough, and there's nothing we have to do. How could you get those three truths in you? That we are all one,
correct.
there is more than enough, and there's nothing we have to do.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that we have to do. No. I mean, what you got?
There's stuff we want to do.
What
and
you're
we choose
saying
to
that
do.
you gotta,
There's
know.
nothing we have to do.
Okay, I mean,
Can you like
I don't-
go more into details?
that's the only one that
Like,
I
I'm
don't
also
really-
stuck with
Yeah.
him. Like, what do you mean? Like, there's nothing we have to do. I understand that.
So what do you do that you have to do?
That I have to do?
Yeah.
Worship God. Like, in
You don't
order
have
to
to.
be grounded.
You don't have to, but you gotta understand reality gonna catch up to you. But you're gonna be a nobody. That's how I look at it.
Oh yeah, I just confused me. But yeah, go. There's nothing that we have to do.
There's
You
nothing.
have to do
there's nothing
something.
you have to do.
I
It's
mean,
hard-
once
it's-
you accept God, obviously, like,
It's hard to get your mind around.
you
it.
have to be
Right.
grounded already, though, in order to like accept to get to that level, to the third level.
So what made you become ungrounded? When you came here, you were already grounded.
Because I wasn't doing the shit I wasn't supposed to be doing. Like
What do you-
worshiping God. That's
what are
what
you
the ground, the,
supposed to do?
the foundation is.
You think God needs your worship?
No, it's for me, obviously. But like, am I putting those actions for myself? That's me doing something. I'm just a little stuck with that last part. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can just.
There's nothing we need or have to do.
I mean, the only other way I'm understanding that is like, if I can't figure out something, I leave it to God. That's the only other way I'm
Right.
understanding.
That's a good way of thinking.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff you don't know how to do. So what do you do with that?
I'm also thinking like, let's say you have a child, right?
Uh-huh.
They don't know what God. I mean, not like by education. They don't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
What I need to do is teach them the way of God. That's me doing something.
So you're teaching them your way of
Your
God.
way of God.
My way of God, yes. And what
So if you're just
if I don't do
being-
anything? What they could be anything. And
I mean, I get his point at the same
I get his
time.
point too, but I'm saying if you already are doing what you're supposed to do, children learn from
They'll follow you
watching, they model.
realistically.
yeah, that's
Instead of
me
you teaching
doing.
them.
That's what I'm saying. I have to do stuff though. Like I'm the.
Role model.
Y'all just go in circles. Like that's what I cannot just do something and raise a child and expect them to know God. I mean, they don't have to learn it through me, but as a parent, that's like a responsibility.
All right. So the more complex a system is, the simpler its design. Can you accept that? The more complex a system is, the simpler its design.
Hey,
Yeah, I mean, hide it in plain sight.
Think about a single cell, how complex that is. If your mind is contained in every cell, it's just a little thing with a little tail. And, if you've ever
Yeah.
seen a cell on a microscope,
Yeah,
that's a complex thing, but it's really simple. All right, I'm gonna move on.
nah, can I
Go ahead.
Like, no, I'm actually want to. Like, I agree with that. Like,
Okay.
heartily, because throughout school, like people make things more complex because they don't understand the simplicity. Like when it comes to math, like I always went back to the smallest, like simple ways to get to the answer.
Right.
And that is like key to learning like all complex like stuff. Like even like what's his name, Leonardo da Vinci said, simplicity is something. I don't remember the whole quote.
It's
but
just nothing is complex until we make it.
till you
Yeah,
make
for
it,
sure, I can agree.
And that is very true. And people need to understand that. Like you have to be grounded in that.
Okay, so HEB is what I'm going to use to stand for highly evolved being. This is what we're trying to get to. Now, is there life outside of the Earth? I have no idea. As of right now in my mind, I haven't seen it. Now they're coming up with all these UFOs and this and that kind of stuff on TV, trying to make sure everybody's,
scared.
separated on another topic. So whether it's true or not, in this book that I was reading, there are other lives outside. So in the Bible, it doesn't say anything about it. And the Quran doesn't say anything about it. So like I said, I don't know. So HEB, highly effective beings, live in utter simplicity. Their governance is highly evolved system of governance is self-governance. That's what I'm trying to do with the children in my class. I'm trying to get them to get to the point where I don't have to tell them what to do because they already know what to do.
Yeah.
When I give them that chance, give them that space, they will figure it out and they'll just do it themselves. Okay, if you never give them that chance or that space and you're always telling them what to do, they're going to do something bad just to get you to tell them what to do. So they're controlling me.
Yeah.
Like, that ain't gonna happen.
I like how you put it.
Okay, so feelings,
That's true, yeah.
I'm going to get in deeper because feelings are the language of the soul. Okay, not words. Okay,
Yeah.
words can be misconstrued. I could talk to a child that's having a bad day, and I may be trying to help them with my words, and they may look at those words as being something that, they think I'm cussing at them. I can't control their perception of what I'm saying. So instead of that, I have to kind of show my feelings to how they're reacting, to basically talk to their soul, not to their physical being.
But feelings can be manipulated though.
Oh, absolutely. You're right. Okay. This is a hard concept. There's only one soul.
Okay. What you trying to
Don't
say?
accept it that easy.
No, I'm just saying. I'm trying to say. What are you trying to say? There's only one soul.
There's only one soul.
Okay, I agree. What are you trying to say?
I still don't even know what soul
Yeah.
is.
Soul is your mind,
Yeah.
your will, and your emotions by definition.
Yeah. I
But
still
you
don't
have a
agree.
soul, I have a soul.
Yeah.
But the reason why I'm saying there's only one soul is when I get in closer contact to you and the souls actually go outside of your body. They're not stuck inside. Your body is contained inside your soul. Your soul holds your body.
And what's a spirit then?
Your spirit is what's connected to God, and He's able
The
to
source.
download. It's not your soul. Your soul is actually, we did this last week or 2 weeks ago when I did it over at his house. Your soul is actually developed. Your spirit is discovered. Okay, meaning your body is developed, by a basic process. Your soul is developed by your education, your environment. All that stuff will develop your soul.
Can we
Okay?
call it personality?
That's part in there, yeah, and part of your soul. Personality just is personal reality. It's like how you
Oh,
look at things.
shit.
But everything
That's
is
hard.
we live in this reality.
I'm
Whatever
saying
you put in
you have a
your
different
soul.
reality than I do, and we're sitting in the same place.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I'm saying. Your personal reality or your personality
It's
comes
gonna be
from-
different. Yeah.
Absolutely. But I'm saying there's only one soul, and I'm getting no pushback. Maybe it's getting late.
Nah,
That's
I
perfectly-
understand.
I will push back, but I feel like I don't know enough to push back. So
Okay.
I'm
All right,
Shut
so
up.
if we can accept that, that's good.
I was just thinking it from a different perspective, but I don't think you're ready for that.
Probably let us.
What you
let us
mean?
Be ready.
We ready, man. It was
Look,
born
you
ready.
challenging us. You
Ain't
almost
nothing
got
impossible, man. Come on, spit it out.
I'm just an idea of where it's the fact that you have God's traits and all that stuff. And when you say the soul is there's only one soul, everybody here has elements and from God. So really, even though it was God's concept, you're here to experience it, but experiencing it for God. So you're looking at it. I'm looking at that's one soul. That's what I'm looking at it. Is only His soul, and because we are a child of
We're
God,
all
He
part
gave
of
us
it.
a little piece of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Part
That's
of
where I'm coming
creativity.
from.
Okay.
That's
I'll
a
buy
good point
that.
of it.
He got in the answers, man. Talking about he wasn't ready.
Yeah, like you said, the
He said, y'all
silent.
ain't ready. I was
Yeah.
ready. Nah. Okay, now these HEBs, the highly effective or highly evolved beings, never lie. What's a lie? Remember what a lie is?
Limited something.
Limited idea
Yeah.
explained
Entertained.
or entertained, explained,
Yeah.
whatever. You can do whatever you want with it. But I'm saying, can you get to the point where you never lie? I'm
You
telling
could
you,
get to the point.
I
yeah.
don't know where it happened, but I'm telling you, I don't lie anymore. It's crazy. And sometimes I even think about, because I'm a kind of wisdom, I think about what are the ramifications if I tell the truth before I spit it out. Because I might take a second to answer, but I just spit the truth out and deal with the consequences.
I like the sound of that.
It got worse as I got older. I can say that. But
The
growing up,
line?
I didn't feel like it was necessary. Like even if my feelings were going against what my parents wanted to hear, I still spoke how I felt, and it brought a lot of like confrontation with my dad. So like, but like to me, it's like I'm being honest.
So when you're being honest, is that putting a spotlight on someone that's probably lying?
More like controlling, as opposed to a spotlight of somebody who is controlling, who's not getting their
Who's not getting
controlling
what
way.
they want.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's where the conflict
Okay,
came.
I'm saying if you want to be a highly evolved being, you got to stop lying. Because every lie
agree.
is gonna have to, it's gonna have to be
That's
thought of.
a
And
good point. And you got to remember that shit. That's the problem.
Once you be truthful, you don't have to
Yeah.
remember it anymore.
That's a good point. That's
Yeah, you have
what
to
I'm
be
trying to
something.
say.
It's not what you do, because you can not lie once in a while, but if you lie once in a while, you're not being truthful. All right, so
Understood.
that's where it starts, is the B part. They observe fully, they communicate truthfully to see what works and say what is so. They're looking for what's functional, what brings benefits for all. It's hard to get to that point, I'm telling you. I'm getting it. I'm working on that.
Is this still on the
This
line?
is the highly evolved being. This is what I'm trying to tell you guys, where you're trying to get to. Okay, it's not a matter of right and wrong. It's just what works and what is so. If you're always labeling stuff right and wrong, then you'll kind of limit yourself to trying things that you think is wrong, but that might be the answer to what's right. Because what we're doing right now ain't working in your life, in my life, everybody's life.
You say it ain't working.
Ain't working.
What we doing right now? I
Oh,
it's working
realistically,
to a-
your
to a
personal life.
degree, like
It's
small
working to limit to you to what you are right
Yeah.
now. All right?
It's consistent.
It's consistent, but that's not what we
That's
want to
what they
be.
said. You right about that.
Okay, the highly evolved beings don't have any guilt or any shame, because guilt and shame, all it does is block you from loving yourself. Okay, this is a big one. They actually have telepathic communication.
I
I'll
don't even
tell
know what
you what
that
it
is.
means.
Tell it.
That silence.
Okay, if we have to use words to convey feelings, desires, and information, then we're not highly evolved beings. Why would I say that, though? If we have to use words to communicate feelings, desires, and information, then we're not highly evolved beings. What do words do?
Words can limit. You
Can
can
limit,
label
can
it.
lie.
So you saying you don't got to say nothing,
You ain't got to say nothing.
or you just got to give them that look?
Just, I'll tell you. when you-
That
when
look
you-
could be
when
a
you-
lie.
I'm saying, but when he walked into the soccer place yesterday, just blow him up. Ain't even a word said.
Yeah, I ain't really
We already
saying
know
that.
how we roll.
Right.
But I'm saying that's getting closer to where you're trying to get with everybody. Because when you got to use words is the worst way to communicate. Because now
Yes,
you're going to involve people's perceptions and, get them all fired up because they think you know it all and they don't know anything. And like I said, the words is what actually gets you in trouble. I do this to the kids in the class sometimes. I say, if you guys want to have a good class today, no one say a word. I said, no one's allowed to speak. Because when you speak, that's when you get in trouble. Okay, I'm trying to teach them that words that they're using, a lot of them are to put other people down. It's to do this, to do that, to try and control, that's what words do. So highly evolved beings don't use words as much as we do. Caring creates communication. Where there is deep love, words are virtually unnecessary. Okay, my wife always is talking, always says, you got to do this, got to do that. But I don't speak a lot to her because I already know I love her. And like I said, I show it more than in my ways than I do with my words.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, females are more, words and, than we are.
Yeah, they got a whole language for that. Words of affirmation they
Yeah,
got.
I ain't lying. Okay, the more words you have to use, the less time you must be taking to care for each other. Think about that. The more words you have to use, the less time you must be taking to care for each other.
Yeah, to take care of each other, most likely. Because you'll focus
So
on.
if you're always talking about stuff, always having to explain yourself, if they don't understand you, then you're really not taking that time to care for that person.
They don't understand you.
I'm saying that you should be able to look and we're gone. Like if something's going on and we look at each other, it's like we already know what's going to go on.
It sounds good.
I'm just saying we got to get to that point.
You ain't lying.
I'm saying once you start using your words, what's the wife do? She starts arguing back. She thinks you're attacking her.
Yeah, getting the
I mean,
feelings.
depends on how your words are, you're being portrayed. You can speak in their language.
He said their language, yo.
What can you speak
be
that she
positive.
cannot argue with?
What can I speak?
That she cannot argue with.
She cannot argue with? I mean, the approach. You can start off with a good
You
approach.
can have your own approach. I'm saying if
mean-
you speak truth, that's the only thing that's not going to get you a kickback, any kind of resistance. Because you cannot argue truth. If you want to speak how you want to get something done or that kind of stuff, she can argue process.
I mean, not every woman or person is like that. Not everybody's personality is like that. Some people like
So how many
you
people-
talk to them. You can actually like a child. If you trying to tell a child something, if you yelling at them, telling them do this, do that, they're gonna actually go against, argue back. But if you telling them in a good approach, a positive manner, respectively, they might even give you time to listen, to hear you out, and they might actually do it. As I said, might. I'm not saying it's always the case.
So when somebody's doing something wrong in my class, I just look at them.
Look at them.
I just look at them.
You going?
I didn't say just look at them.
I'm just saying that's what I do. I just look at them.
Yeah, they're gonna
If I have to
read
tell
that
you-
energy off of you.
If I have to tell you what you're doing wrong, then now it's my fault. I didn't allow you to experience what you're doing wrong yet.
Yeah.
So they're not ready for my words.
I mean, you can say that. There's kids who are more wiser than you think. Some kids doing things out of
They
attention.
can't get there unless you allow them to get there. I tell them I want my silence to weigh way more than my words.
We were talking about a woman, a wife now. You ain't talking
Same
about kids,
thing.
A woman, yeah, she's human.
I'm
think
saying
so.
you're battling a battle that doesn't need to happen.
though. So I should just be quiet every time.
Not be quiet every time. I mean, you have to be intentional in what you do. You have to work towards what you're trying to get. But I'm saying the more words you have to use, it's like when somebody's yelling and screaming and you're only 5 feet away from each other, that's your heart is so far away from that person. That's why,
You said summarize it.
You had to trigger something to get that yelling and screaming. So technically, it's your fault.
Okay. There's no fault. All real communication is about truth. The only real truth is love. When communication is difficult, love is not fully present. Okay, with these HEBs, the highly evolved beings, they have a triangle that they use. It's the top part's awareness, second part's responsibility, third part is honesty. If somebody does something wrong in their environment, there's no trial, no punishment. There's a simple observation of what is so and what works, so they make them aware of what they did, allow them to take responsibility and be honest about what they did, and that fixes it. So the more you stay simple with what you're doing with the child, the less they have to argue about. Because one day you might be in a good mood, you let them just cut up. Other day you might be in a bad mood, and all they do is look at you, and now you're yelling at them.
I'll create that
saying-
character.
Yeah, well,
Playing like that. Yeah.
So I'm just telling you how a highly effective being, you make them aware of the behavior, they take responsibility, and they're honestly to fix that for what works for the group. If everything belongs to everybody anyways, there's no concept of ownership or loss. We get in trouble right now. It's like, this is my land, or this is
Oh yeah,
fence
because
is. As I'm saying, that's where we actually create our own issues.
yeah.
Okay, if we're all one and what works. Actually, in this group, children are actually raised by elders. Okay, children are not necessarily raised by their own parents. 'Cause a lot of times the parents are actually not even aware of what is right or wrong yet.
They're too busy their damn self.
Yeah,
That's. I mean, that's why like
Well, I'm saying this goes
Grandma's-
back to this goes back
grandma's is like the best place to be.
to
'Cause
she
they-
no longer has to change everything. She knows that there's a process they go through.
Oh, she
It doesn't
experienced
feel like because a parent feels like personal. If your child's acting up, you think it's you acting up. It's not you.
Not only that, the grandma went through.
Yeah,
enough
she's been
experience
through
to know.
enough
To
that she
understand.
knows that there's an awareness there.
100% agree.
Okay, so HEBs, highly effective beings, acknowledge everything they see and they deny nothing. Whereas normal society, we deny almost everything we see. Everything depends on who you think you are and what you're trying to do. So your motive is everything. Objectives actually determine outcomes. Your life will proceed out of your intention, and your true intention is revealed in your actions. Your actions are determined by your true intention. So I'm just talking about a different way of thinking. I'm almost done.
Doesn't intention precedes action though?
Yes,
I mean,
whatever
all
you
the
intend to
time.
do, you have action. If you don't intend, you will not act.
I probably misheard that. I thought that
Yeah.
says the other way.
Yeah. So HEBs respond to what is so. Humans actually ignore what's so. HEBs tell the truth always. Humans often lie to themselves and others. HEBs do what they say always. Humans will say one thing and do another. So there's a difference between HEBs and us. And like I said, I'm trying to get to my point where I'm getting closer to more of a highly evolved being.
You trying to be human?
Yeah, well, I am human. But I'm saying the definition of a human being isn't like what we create things that aren't even really human. You know what I mean? We create things that God is embarrassed about because we're not living up to our potential. So God is a process, and He created everything we see. So you have to stop thinking of either or. He could be a process, or he could have created everything we see. It's really both and. You have to expand your mind that, he could be anything. We have no idea. You know what I mean? Like I said, we have some texts that tell us, a little bit about him, but he couldn't put everything in a book that he's actually capable of. So here's the ending part of it. If we wish to increase the speed at which we are evolving, you need to seek to observe more and act less. There's nothing you need to do. That's where it comes into. Think about nature.
Okay. It handles itself most likely.
It just runs itself. It's absolutely perfect. Okay, the reason why definition of nothing matters.
Yeah,
Can you get that around your head?
Yeah,
that
for
nothing
sure.
matters.
I can agree with that.
You talking about physics? Or
Nothing matters.
Nothing matters.
The
Because you
reason-
make it matter.
Yeah,
That's
the reason
only
why
thing.
is nothing turns into matter except if we choose for it to do that.
For sure.
Isn't matter everything?
Matter is everything.
I like where this is going. This is actually very true though. How can you make everything matter? So you might as well keep
So
it.
nothing matters
Yeah.
unless you make it matter.
Simple. Yeah.
So that's why you get to choose whether you're reactive or whether you respond.
I agree.
You react, then you just made it matter.
Wow.
You
Facts.
respond, it doesn't matter.
That's why I like the English language.
Yeah. All right, that kind of ends what I got.
Episode
So,
8.
yeah, episode 8 is done.
Get the merch.
Get the merch and
Get the merch.
Mula has to stop us.
Get the merch.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Quality's not great, but we'll get great quality.
Yeah.
Why is this
process.
bigger than yours?
Yeah, because I ordered a bigger one.
Oh, okay. Oh, you ordered a bigger one.
Yeah. I didn't want that small.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like, nah.